There is something no one really teaches us when we are young. No one tells us that growing up is not just about becoming better, but sometimes about learning how to stop pretending. We are taught to be polite, to adjust, to be agreeable, and slowly, almost without noticing, we learn how to become someone others find easy to be around. But there is a cost. This is a story about that cost, and about a man who realized it later than he should have. His name was Arjun, 32 years old, a mid-level manager at a private company in Bangalore. Not particularly outstanding, but not someone anyone disliked either. In fact, people liked him. He was easy to talk to, never created conflict, always flexible. If there was extra work, people thought of him. If there was tension in the team, he was asked to mediate. If someone needed agreement, he was usually the one to give it. It sounded like a good thing, and for many years, Arjun believed it was. Until a Tuesday evening, he stayed late at the office, close to 9 p.m., finishing a task for a colleague who had asked. Just a small favor. It wasn't the first time, not even the 10th. As he left the office, he saw a message from his mother. "It's been a long time since you came home for dinner." He looked at the phone, didn't reply immediately. Then he opened his banking app. The numbers weren't bad, but they didn't reflect the amount of effort he was putting in. He opened his work email again. A message from his manager. "Thanks for supporting the team." Nothing was wrong, but something didn't feel right either. That night, lying in bed, scrolling mindlessly through his phone, he noticed something unsettling. He was tired, not just from work, but from always being easy to deal with. A week later, there was an important meeting at work. A new project was proposed, with a timeline that was clearly unrealistic. Everyone in the room knew it, but no one said anything. The manager asked, "What do you all think?" A few nodded slightly. Some stayed silent. Arjun knew if he spoke up, something might change. At the very least, the conversation would become more honest. But in his mind, a familiar voice appeared. "Don't complicate things. Don't be the difficult one. Just go along." And like always, he was about to nod. But this time, something stopped him. Maybe it was the night before. Maybe it was his mother's message. Maybe it was the quiet emptiness that had been building for years. He said, "I don't think this timeline is realistic." Not loudly, not aggressively, just honestly. The room fell silent. No one reacted immediately. 1 second. 2 seconds. Then someone else spoke. "Actually, I was thinking the same." Another added, "If we keep this deadline, the quality will suffer." The meeting shifted. It was no longer a performance of agreement. It became a real discussion. After the meeting, no one blamed him. No one praised him either. Everything seemed normal. But on his way home, Arjun felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Light. Not because everything had suddenly improved, but because, for once, he hadn't betrayed himself. His change wasn't dramatic. He didn't quit his job, didn't transform overnight, didn't post motivational quotes online. He just started doing small things. When he didn't want to, he said, "Let me think about it," instead of "sure." When he was tired, he left work on time. When he disagreed, he spoke, even if his voice shook a little. And sometimes, he still failed. There were days he said yes out of habit. Days he stayed silent out of fear. But now, he noticed it. And that made all the difference. Some people began to see him differently. They said he had become less flexible, harder to rely on, not as easy as before. One colleague slowly distanced himself. That hurt. But something else happened too. A new team member approached him one day and said, "I like working with you. You're honest. I know where I stand." Arjun didn't know what to say, because no one had ever told him that before. There is a truth Arjun took more than 30 years to understand. People don't truly trust you when you always make them comfortable. They trust you when you are real. This story is not about changing your entire life. It's not about becoming harsh or distant. It's about something much simpler. Maybe you've been living as a version of yourself, edited to fit everyone around you. And maybe you've forgotten who you are when you don't need to please anyone. If you saw yourself in this story, then you don't need to change everything. Just start with something small. One honest sentence, one refusal, one moment of not pretending to be okay, and see what happens. Not immediately, not dramatically, but enough for you to realize you were never lost. You were just waiting to be real.